Welcome to Storied Audio. She canceled their anniversary dinner. Not with a phone call. Not with a voice note. Just a short clipped text that hit harder than any argument they'd ever had. Dinner's off. I need space. He stared at the message, the words blurring as the adrenaline from their fight still pulsed through him. They'd argued before. About work, about time, about the little things that pile up until they feel like mountains. But this one had been different. Sharper. Colder. The kind that leaves a bruise on the heart. He typed 3 different replies. Deleted all of them. And then he did something she never expected. He got dressed anyway. The restaurant was the kind of place you only go to once a year. Dim lights, white tablecloths, a pianist in the corner playing songs that made you feel something. She had chosen it months ago, excitedly showing him pictures of the rooftop view, the candlelit tables, the dessert she'd been dreaming about. Now she sat alone in her apartment, knees pulled to her chest, replaying their argument like a movie she didn't want to watch but couldn't turn off. She hated fighting with him. Hated how easily they could go from laughing to hurting each other. Hated how stubborn they both were. She checked her phone again. Nothing. Good, she told herself. She needed space. She'd said that. He meant it. But her chest ached anyway. He arrived at the restaurant 5 minutes early. The host recognized him. They'd made the reservation weeks ago, and gave him a sympathetic smile when he said he'd be dining alone. He sat at their table, the one she'd requested, by the window, overlooking the city lights. The chair across from him felt painfully empty. He took a slow breath, reached into his jacket and pulled out the small velvet box he'd been carrying for months. Not a ring, not yet, but something that mattered just as much. A key. To his place. To his life. To the future he wanted with her. He'd planned to give it to her tonight after dessert, when the city lights reflected in her eyes and she was smiling that soft smile she only gave him. But now the box sat on the table, unopened, heavy with everything he hadn't said. Back in her apartment she paced. He hated how quiet it was. Hated how the silence made her think about the way he looked at her during their fight. Frustrated, yes, but also scared. Scared of losing her. She grabbed her phone again. Still nothing. She threw it onto the couch, annoyed at herself for caring so much. But the truth was simple and painful. He missed him. Even when she was mad, she missed him. She sank onto the couch, rubbing her temples. Maybe she'd been too harsh. Maybe she shouldn't have canceled. Maybe. Her phone buzzed. Her heart jumped. But it wasn't him. It was the restaurant. A polite message reminding her of her reservation. Her stomach twisted. He wouldn't be there. He wouldn't show up after the way she ended things. He wasn't that kind of man. Except, he was exactly that kind of man. The kind who stayed. The kind who tried. The kind who loved her even when she made it difficult. She grabbed her keys. When she walked into the restaurant, she didn't see him at first. The lights were low, the room full of soft conversation and clinking glasses. She almost turned around, embarrassed, ready to flee back into the night. Then she saw him. Sitting alone. At their table. Her breath caught. He wasn't angry. He wasn't cold. He wasn't anything she feared he'd be. He just looked sad and hopeful. And hers. She walked toward him slowly, her hands trembling. He looked up when she reached the table, surprise flickering across his face before something warmer replaced it. You came, he said softly. I shouldn't have canceled, she whispered. I was upset. I didn't mean. I know, he said. I showed up anyway. Her eyes stung. She sat down across from him, the same seat she would have taken if the night had gone as planned. The pianist played something soft and aching in the background. I hate fighting with you, she said. I hate it too, he replied. But I don't want one bad moment to erase everything good. She swallowed hard. I don't either. He hesitated, then reached into his jacket. The velvet box appeared between them like a fragile truth. Her breath hitched. Is that? Not what you think, he said with a small smile. But still important. He opened it. She gasped. A key. To his home. To his heart. To everything he'd been too scared to say out loud. I was going to give this to you tonight, he said. But then we fought and I thought maybe it wasn't the right time. But sitting here alone, I realized something. She leaned in, eyes shining. I don't want to build a life where we only love each other on the easy days, he said. I want the hard days too. The messy ones. The ones where we argue and misunderstand each other and still choose to show up. Her throat tightened. You really want me to have this? I want you, he said simply. All of you. Even when we fight. A tear slipped down her cheek. She reached across the table taking his hand. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm sorry too. They sat there, fingers intertwined, the city lights glowing around them like a quiet blessing. Then she picked up the key, holding it carefully, reverently. I want the hard days too, she said. And the good ones. And all the ones in between. He exhaled, relief softening his shoulders. Then stay, he said. I'm not going anywhere, she replied. And for the first time that night they both smiled. Not because everything was perfect, but because they were choosing each other anyway. Subscribe to the channel for more audio stories.